have now reached the intersection where ideas, beliefs, and perspectives collide. So be free to be you. It's the XrossroadZ Podcast with your hosts, author, speaker, and transformational strategist, Barzini, and entrepreneur, empowerment coach, and tech diva, Dre Renee. If you're ready to talk love, business, politics, and everything in between, you're in for a ride. Welcome to the XrossroadZ Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Hunter Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm fempreneur extraordinaire, tech diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the XrossroadZ, where there's only one rule: be free to be you.
Hey.
All right, y'all. What's going on? It's a lot going on, y'all.
Another episode.
Yes, another episode. So I was about to do my Snoop impression, but
oh, the next episode. Hold up.
Right. Yeah, all that. I was about to join in. So y'all, tonight is a crazy night. We are not going to talk about it if we can at all help it. We are actually recording tonight to keep from talking about it, but it is election night. We're recording this on election night. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, you can see us with our I voted stickers on. We have performed our civic responsibility. Right. Yeah, it's crazy just because I just saw a meme talking about tonight feels like the whole country is waiting for STD results.
Bated breath. Yeah.
Listen, I need change in this country, and I'm just unapologetic about who I voted for. I did vote for Biden.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I do not like Donald Trump as a president or as a person. So I will leave it at that.
I have to get my Sam Cooke on.
Listening who are offended.
Oh,
yeah. I just cannot support somebody who does not support my skin.
Yeah.
And you know, those who are offended by that, I feel that you also don't support my skin, in which case you can log off now. Or keep listening. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep listening, that's cool.
Right.
Like,
Nothing's gonna change over here.
You paying me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right, stimulate my economy by all means, but I can't. I was just, and see, I just said we was going to go talk about it, but I am going to say this.
Well, say what you got to say.
I was triggered today, and I had to stay in the house. I had a couple things I had to do, but I had to stay in the house because I was triggered. I took myself out to breakfast this morning, and I'm sitting there, and I look over to my right, like in the other room of the restaurant, and I see this guy with a MAGA beanie on and some other stuff, just like, and I just when I see that, I just always feel like you hate my skin. Mm-hmm. And you would probably be offended. Like if I had on a Black Lives Matter shirt, I feel like you would be offended. In which case it's like, but why does that offend you? And I was discussing with somebody else, and I'm like, have you ever noticed how nobody says all lives matter when someone says blue lives matter? We don't. All lives matter is only a response to Black Lives Matter. And I just don't understand how people don't see that, get that. And so then I had to go to the doctor. I had my doctor's appointment, my weekly doctor's appointment. And I went to the doctor, and I'm at a stoplight, and I look over my shoulder, and I see this white guy with a mohawk or whatever, like just staring at me. And I'm ready to jump out the car like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just triggered all day. And I'm passing by all these houses, and I see all these Trump, decals and posters and banners and flags and everything else. And I'm like, I got to get in the house because my anxiety is on 1,000, and I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't want to hurt anybody, you know. And so one of my partners came by, and he was like, oh yeah, I wanted to show you my new toy. And he pulls out a gun, and it's showing me his new gun. It's like, I'm like, bro, why you walking around with a gun? He was like, it's election day. I was like,
it's only funny, but it's for real. Like,
right. But it's real. I was like, bro, go in the house, you know. So we're just living in a time like I have to go to work tomorrow and have conversations with my kids about whatever the election results are going to be. And we have never, in my 20 plus years of working in education, we have never had to prepare to have a conversation on election results. Like it just was what it was. And we might have an assignment about the electoral process or something, but we literally have to do like social emotional support.
No, for real.
In case, and let's be honest, it's in case Trump wins again.
Yeah.
Based on our community and our demographic. That's why we're taking preparations, and we have to have safety plans in place in case there's violence based on the results and all this. And we've never had this before.
That's crazy.
So it's crazy.
I don't know.
So that's all I have to say about that. But
4 years ago, I had just launched, I don't think I hadn't done it completely, but was on the verge of launching my coaching and consulting business. And I went online to have a conversation about why it was necessary to prepare yourself in the next 4 years economically, because I was like, something about this is not going to be good. Never would have imagined that we would sink to these depths. And that it would be more than economic, right? Just the violence that we've seen, the racially charged mindsets, like the fact that you would feel uncomfortable, sitting in a restaurant with somebody wearing a hat. For me, it was driving and seeing this. So Laker Nation, we're used to flying flags on our cars, right?
Right.
Well, we were. But the flag was so big flying off the back of this pickup truck that when the guy passed, it scared me. That's how big it looked like it was going to cover my windshield. I was like, oh, this is not one of our little cutesy flags. He's making a statement.
Right.
Oh, yeah. We definitely went to the grocery store. We got filled up with gas. We did all the things that we felt like we needed. It felt like preparing for COVID all over again, like just in case you can't go outside.
Well, he is a virus infecting this nation.
And there it is.
So in the immortal words of Forrest Gump, and that's all I have to say about that. So currently in the polls, Biden is up. But it's a long night ahead. According to Google, it's 85-61 right now. I can't, according to Fox, it was 91 to something. And according to CNN, my CNN feed timed out. I said I wasn't going to look at the stuff, so.
I know. We said, let's record.
So we're doing this episode to not think about the election results, and we're let's get you look. Okay. To the topic at hand. Tonight's episode, y'all, or today's episode rather, is called Socially Distant. The effects of social media on relationships.
Yeah.
And if anybody is in a relationship in 2020, I am almost certain that social media has affected your relationship in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And it's just crazy. Like, why do you think there's so much emphasis on social media as it pertains to relationships? Like, what makes social media so different than relationships before the advent or the rise of social media?
I just think because social media is important, period. Like it affects and touches everything. So even if you're not in a relationship, for many people, that's how they're even staying connected to, their loved ones or people that they know during this actual pandemic crisis. So but even before that, right? Like, you do business there, you keep up with your friends and family there. It's just like your personal billboard, if you will, right? Like that's your opportunity to share who you are and what you like and your opinion and all of that with the world or whoever follows you. It's like making people mini celebrities, and some folks aren't many, right? Like they amass a big following, and it changes and impacts their lives. So I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons.
Yeah. I think social media has just changed the way we live our life in the sense that it has provided a level of access that we've never had before. And
Definitely.
with access comes options, and with options comes actions. Um, and so, like, when we look at how social media has just affected, like you were talking about business and the way we do business and stuff like that, just you don't have to go to such measures to reach the masses. You no longer need these big companies or organizations or media outlets to reach the masses. It's as easy as clicking a button.
And
You
here we
know,
are.
right? And here we are. Like before, to do what we are doing right now, we would need to be on a major radio station and have these years experience and gone through these hoops, whereas now we can turn on our computers, we have purchased microphones and come up with topics, and we have our own pre-production meetings, and we have branded our own company. We've done a lot from two different states.
Right,
you
right.
know I know you guys see that. You always see me with my LA fitted on. We're both from Los Angeles, but neither of us are in Los Angeles. So it's like we're repping the soil, not from the soil. So for those who don't know, Dre is in Nevada and I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
So look, okay, funny moment, y'all. Funny moment. Since this is pre-recorded, this is also edited, and she just got on my head because I was a little bit more specific about her location.
Hey,
As she
socially distant.
Social, yes, she wants to remain socially distant. That is
Love
hilarious.
y'all.
She got me on right now. And I'm gonna finish my song later. That song that you don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, just the be able to connect and the access that we have is such that strangers are becoming friends without ever having to meet, and I think and just remember how it was so progressive. We went from chat rooms to Black Planet to AIM to MySpace.
Yeah.
And then we had actually a step before MySpace on Kazodius.
Yes, Kazo.
Kazodius was Facebook and MySpace, like all rolled into one before either of those existed. And so for those who don't know, Kazodius was it came out in the late 90s, and our friend Shannon Rawls actually invented it, and it was a message board. Shout out to Shannon. I'm pretty sure he's listening to this and not telling us that he's listening, because that's what he does.
Well, good. Hey, Shannon.
But he invented a message board for Black Greeks across the nation. And Kazodius is actually an acronym for the first letter of all the Divine Nine organizations. So like everybody who was anybody in the Greek world was on this message board.
And folks that wanted to be somebody.
Anyway. Right. Well, for folks that wanted to be somebody. And the thing is, this was, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. Yeah. And the people that were on that site are still connected and friends today, many of them. Yeah. But the funny part is we still don't know a lot of people's real names, or now we know their real names. And it was like, oh, I was such and such on Kazodius. Yeah. I've always been Barzini. So
that's true.
For all
in person, not in person.
Yeah, in person, not in person. I've always been Barzini. I ain't had to be telling them. They hear the name, it's like, oh, like, yeah, I remember you. And so that was just good times. But at the same time, there was relationships that were formed on that. And so now when you get to MySpace and Facebook, and the very purpose of Facebook is to connect people in that way.
Yeah.
And so now when you are in relationships and people have access to you, they want to know your relationship status. And not only that, is depending on what you post and how you post, people are watching your relationship status or your relationship unfold. And we've gotten so intertwined in this that at first it was about, someone posting in a relationship with, right?
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the extent of it. You don't have to do that now. Now people are checking your pictures. People are evaluating what you post, and people are like, oh, you don't talk about such and such no more. Y'all still together? Oh, I don't see. You used to post pictures of them. Now there's no pictures of them. Like, what's going on? And you got people waiting for that end. You got waiting for people, exes get to watch you go through your next relationship.
That's my favorite part. I ain't gonna even lie.
Oh, they get to watch you be
happy?
I ain't
even gonna lie. Yeah. And which is why a part of me didn't do, a lot of social media about my relationship, but that was the only thing. Like, I just want them to see what's going on, but
but they didn't get to see what's going on because you didn't post him.
I know, that's why. But now, now
right, you posted them. You
been a reveal
in a little bit.
Yeah.
There was a reveal when you got engaged.
Yeah, sprinkle.
Right, but at the same time, it's kind of like, what's really real? You know what I mean? Like, I know that you're in a happy, healthy relationship and engaged, but there are people, and this is the real interesting part. Like, the average person doesn't post their relationship woes, or when their relationship is going badly. And so I talked about in a post a while ago just how people scrutinize others' pages and relationships when it comes to social media. And so I was like, I had a friend tell me, your relationship's not real until you post it on Facebook, which was completely ridiculous to me. But as far as the world is concerned, there's a level of truth to that. And now it's become like this dating rule, like, oh, why they don't post you? If they can't post you, they meet, and all that other madness, right? And so when people do post their significant other and they're posting like all these good times and how happy they are, we scrutinize that like, oh my God, we so tired of hearing about her and Chris, like, whatever, right? And so then when somebody is posting negative stuff and how hurt they are, or how men or women ain't this, oh my God, are you ever happy? You always posting something negative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If, and so it's like, you can never please the people, and a lot of people post their relationship stuff for validation, or a stamp of approval on their relationship. And I just wondered the psychology behind that, like what has brought us to such a pass that the internet is what makes our relationship real,
And that's why I said I think it's a lot about just how we operate on the internet day to day anyway. Like, you're expected really to bring everything that's important to you or that's connected to you to the table within reason, right? Like, I think, kids are kind of off limits because it's crazies out here. So some people post their kids, but some people wait until like they're older or, so I know there are some limitations around that. With your significant other or spouse or something like that. It's like, okay, well, if you would talk about, people post getting ready in the morning, right? Like, if you would let people know where you are and what you're doing all day, it's like, well, why wouldn't you post me, right? Like, I'm a part of your day, right? And so I think that's where some people feel offended or feel away. But I feel like, perhaps because some people are just whack and they are, they're trying to keep their options open on this, free internet. But for some people, I think it's a matter of trying to protect the sanctity of what they have, or even protect the person, right? And I'm sure you'll kind of talk about, your situation and how you thought about that. But like, if you know that you kind of exist in a space, or you have friends or internet friends that are like super nosy, like the first thing I thought of, the day that I decided like I wasn't going to be elusive and I might post #boo. First thing I thought was, when y'all hear hashtag boo, that's her fiance. Yes, that's his affectionate name. That's right. So if you ever hear that, because it's an internet term, right? Hashtag.
All right. we're referring to her fiance when we call him hashtag boo.
Yeah. So yeah, the first time I thought, okay, I want to either tag him in something so he could see it, or it was a picture of him. I can't remember which one. But the first thing I thought of was, watch these niggas go click and go to his page and be trying to add him. You know what I'm saying? Like, go click to go to his page. I don't care. But trying to add him, like, you don't know him. Why are you trying to add him and be friends? Like, that's the part that gets, and not that somebody's trying to do something, but it's just like, why all this familiarity, right? And so that was kind of my reservation. We never had a conversation about it. It was never like, hey, don't post me, or hey, don't post me. It wasn't like that. But I think we kind of just fed off of each other. Now, what we have both come to enjoy, again, without a conversation about it, but I noticed that we do now that Instagram has stories, and that junk is out in 24 hours. Hey, if you missed it, you missed it. I mean,
but it does go in the archive.
It does.
You'd have to dig and search if you want to see it again.
Right, exactly. And so, I mean, I'm never going to put something up that I don't want anybody to see, but also just kind of having it there at your disposal, forever and ever. I might not, necessarily want to do that. At this point, I don't really care. But while we were building and growing and just kind of thinking about, let me just, kind of go back to previous stuff, like the reason why, and we can, try to act like we don't know, but the reason why a lot of people, that's one reason is, your friend circle or acquaintances or whatever will dig and go all of in your business and try to make friends in a place that they don't need to be making friends. The second thing is that, some of us have been in situations where we were dating someone who was carrying on a full-blown situation with somebody, and because you weren't visible, because you weren't in a relationship with, it made it easier, especially if it's somebody that they met online, right? Like you can cheat anywhere. It doesn't, having somebody on your Facebook page is not necessarily going to stop that. But I think, folks feel some sort of false security in that, like you have my name up there, right? Like or my picture is up there. People know that I exist, but trife is trife, and
it really is. And like one of my past relationships, we became official, and I got the little message to connect, like the inner relationship, right? And I was like, ah, shit. Here we go. I did not want to do that because you already know how I get down. I post a lot, but I don't post my personal life, not in real time. I might post something like past, but very seldom do I post something current or in real time. I definitely don't post where I am in real time.
Right.
And so I avoided it. I kind of ignored it until it was like, oh, did you see, the request I sent you? Yeah, I saw it. So you go and accept it? It's like, nah, I hadn't planned on it. I was like, I don't want to. And it's like, why not? And I was trying to explain to her, like, just based on who I am and, my circle, I was like, as soon as I do that, my DMs is going up. And people is going to be on your page trying to figure out who you are. Because, I'm speaking third person, like Barzini doesn't do relationships often. And the minute somebody finds out I'm in a relationship, it's like, oh, shit, who done locked this fool down? Like, who done got him to commit? Let me see who she is. And it's unnecessary problems. It's unnecessary attention. It's unnecessary drama. I'm like, I would much rather focus on my relationship behind closed doors, and when it's time to do something more public, cool. And even then I do it sparingly. Like, I don't care what you post. If you want to post pictures of us or whatever, cool. I'm not going to tell you how to manage your page, and I'm not going to tell you to hide us. And while I'm not hiding us, I'm just not making us all public like that, because I don't like that kind of attention, because then it starts bringing all the questions and, oh, well, how did y'all meet? And why, and I'm kind of like, hey, that's really not your business. And I don't like being in that position. I don't like having those conversations. So I don't even really talk about when I'm dating somebody if it's not significant, And so people kind of like to pick and prod and find out like, oh, so how's it going out there in Texas? You dating? And I'm like, I'd be lying. I'd be like, nah, I just been chilling. And, I mean, by and large, that's the truth. But if I do go out, I keep it I'm just very private. And those who know, but it's not for mass consumption.
Right.
And so I had the conversation with her and I was like, what's the real reason like you want to do this? I was like, you just trying to piss on your territory. Like, keep it 100, And she was like, yeah, I just feel like I need to serve these bitches notice. And I'm like, serve them notice on what? Like,
right.
Like, you honestly think they care to be? And the thing is,
that's what I'm saying.
Like with dudes, like when women get in relationships and we see women in relationships, we typically be like, for real, like, damn, you know what I mean? And we kind of fall back a little initially, and but women see it as the challenge. You know what I'm saying? And for some reason, men in relationships become more appealing. It's like when you single, ain't nobody knocking on your door. You know what I'm saying? You like, where's she at? And and it's
they want to see an example of, right?
Right. I feel like dudes, we want you regardless. Single taking whatever. We gonna shoot our shot. But I feel like women don't want something that don't nobody else want.
Yeah.
or perceivably. Yeah. So it's like, so for some reason, I feel like women look at you when you're single and it's like, but so why are you single? What's wrong with you? Like, if you got this going on, this, then why are you single? Why don't nobody want you? It's almost like an empty restaurant.
Right. Yeah, right.
Nobody. Like, I ain't going. Like, ain't nobody eating there. I ain't going in there. Or like for dudes, when I used to go to the barbershop, you never, like, if you go on a Thursday through Sunday, you never go to an empty chair. Like, if a barber got an empty chair on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you don't need this shit. Yeah, nah. Like, you either knew and you got your clientele, in which I don't trust you, or you've been doing this a while and you ain't got no clientele and I don't trust you. You go to the cat that got a line because you already know it's like, okay, I'm gonna wait for this because I'm gonna be crispy. Yeah, so it's like a lot of women want what's occupied, which is also interesting because anytime we talk about cheating, we always talking about why do men cheat? But women after the ones that got somebody already.
I was on it. I was on my way, but I thought you was gonna turn the corner. I was just waiting for you to finish your thought. And my thought about that was because women know they have an easy shot with y'all. If you guys were the type that were like, I'm in a relationship, get away from me, then hey, it is what. But you guys leave the door open. You slide the little door stopper in there. You give all kind of like, no. So yes, that is why we talk about you guys because everybody knows it's like easy marks. It's unfortunate to say, not all of you, but
listen, I'm gonna say this, Dre. I love you to death. We've been friends for I don't know how long, but what we are not going to do on this podcast, we are not about to sit here and lie because everybody. That is a complete lie because everybody knows black men don't cheat.
Oh,
like, let it be known, black men don't cheat.
Okay,
so,
well, I just said men, so y'all, you got to yourselves out of the equation if you like.
Right. Y'all can jump into whatever demographic you fall in, but we know that is not black men.
Like, if I work this and now I've been delivered, so I'm not speaking from a current
experience.
But I'm not gonna act like I don't know. Okay.
All right. So let's keep it 100. Before you were a changed woman and engaged and betrothed, was you out there sliding in DMs?
No. Well, DMs didn't really exist when I was doing.
There was private messages, whatever.
No, I didn't do that because you know me. I'm too scared for that kind of stuff. So.
Why don't you be shooting? Why you didn't shoot your shot? Well, you shot your shot this time.
I was like, when I finally shot it.
Right, because you figured out. First of all, you shot your shot because you found out you had to.
Right. It's a must do.
I was like, look, just say something because he clearly ain't.
We don't just be waving the sign. Hello.
Right. Like, come on back up. Yeah.
I was like, wow, I think
so was this the first time with hashtag Blue that you shot your shot?
Wait, the first time with him or the first time period?
No, the first time period. I know it was the first time with him.
No,
I know you hinted with him before and he wasn't picking up.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Until you was just like, hey,
might
what's
be
up?
somebody that's worse than me because I don't pick up on signs and signals either. So I was like, oh, it's a special case.
You know what? I pick up on signs and signals, but then I ignore them because I don't know if they're signs or signals.
Right. So then,
like, you be like, is that
that might be a sign? But I'm not
okay.
sure.
So something. So
to answer your question, no, it's not the first time I'd done it, but there had been so much space because the last time traumatized me so much. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm never gonna do that again.
Wait, what happened?
It was like a no. I mean, it's never.
No, you can't just like skip over that. Like
well, that's what happened? You asked me. I mean, it was like they just wanted to be friends, which
What did you say? What was the pitch? I
don't remember. I don't remember all of that because that's how long it was. But I'm sure it was something like, it was wordy, I like you. It was wordy. I don't think so because I was so nervous. I don't think so. Maybe I might have wrote it knowing me.
Because you maybe I wrote it. When you speak, you're succinct. When you write, you put something in writing, not so much. Because I
don't want you asking me questions. I don't want it to be any. Like, did you mean this? No, you know what I meant because I wrote it. So
yeah, because I remember emails. I'm like, you had time to think about this, and
somebody used to date. Oh my god, he was like, "Oh god, when I get an email, I know I'm in trouble."
Right? Because they be you write those scathing emails. like how bad is it when she don't text you, she emails you? Like she is sending you official correspondence about your behavior. Like how you be in a relationship and get a write-up. That's what like you get
yes like, a performance review.
Right, you get a performance review. So when y'all break up, you have had a verbal, a written, and now disciplinary action. Your services are no longer needed, sir.
Yeah, so that's a good question. Whether it was written and knowing me, it probably was written just because I was probably scared. Yeah, I was probably scared. I was probably scared.
But look at you now.
Well, this one was written too, but it was in text.
And then
so
shorter.
It was more succinct.
Right, okay, because you only have but so many characters. But but the question is, how many times did you rewrite that text?
Oh.
And how long did it take you to send it?
Well, I had already in my brain knew that I was gonna. So that part took a while. But to actually do it, I, just decided just toss it up there and close your eyes and just, If the phone don't ding back, if it don't vibrate back, then don't worry.
Okay. So, and I know we're segueing a little bit. So let me ask you this, and because I can get. So, what would be the female equivalent of just the almost like the blue screen of death response? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the kill shot? Because that's like a dude saying, "I love you," and she responds, "Oh." Like, first of all, anything that starts with "all" is not good.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of those. So it's like, "Oh," "Oh, thank you" is not a good response to "I love you."
No, it's not. No, it's not. Neither is silence.
Neither is silence. Or even if you'd be like, I'm just thinking about you, like the random thinking about you text, and someone go like, I don't know if this is good. I'm gonna say it's bad because I take it as bad. When someone goes, "Thank you for thinking of me," I was like, shit. Like it
sounds so clinical.
it's like I feel like it's text, the text version of patting someone on the head. Like, like I hate being patted. Like, don't pat my head, and especially, please, when you hug me, don't pat.
One arm, pat.
Back. Oh God, I'm like, damn,
One
I ain't never
arm.
getting her number. Like when she hug you and pat you on the back, that is, fellas. Let me tell you this: if you have never read a signal in your life, when you hug a woman and she gives you that three pats, especially if she gives you the underhooks. She gives you the underhooks, and it's like it goes like this. It goes pat, pat, pat. And I'm saying that some of y'all are listening, you can't see it, but those of you watching on YouTube, when you get this right here, that little under, and she goes pat, or that one arm that go over the shoulder, it's pat, pat, pat. And you was trying to go in for the embrace around her waist, right? You was trying to get both of your arms under her arms so you can like hug her around the waist.
She's here.
If she slides one arm under one of your arms, because she's gonna go for it. You're gonna try to get that arm under there, and then she hit you with that pat, pat, pat. And you know what those three pats are like words. And here's the words. It's no, never, nigga. The 3 ends. You might as well like just if that ever happens, just walk away, bro.
Oh my God. JC used to call me one arm pat. And I didn't even realize that that's what I did. Oh, but I guess now you've added another pat.
Don't ever. Oh, don't pat me.
Now it's pat. But I did. I would, one arm pat.
No, because you was a two patter.
Yeah, it was two.
You just wasn't calling them nigga. You was no never.
Just no.
No never. But that third one,
that seals the deal.
It's like a punctuation mark. It's so final.
That is hilarious.
And then when you say it, she always be like, "What?"
Right.
It's like she don't know. Like,
sometimes and maybe she don't. Yeah, I don't think so.
Look, it's just so you would never do that to a dude you like. You don't pat dudes you like.
I don't know.
Did you pat hashtag boo?
I have to ask him. I'll have to ask him.
You don't pat him now.
I did. Anywho, we get in trouble because this is my next point about social media, and podcasts definitely falls under that. You gotta be careful. The things that you would be comfortable sharing or think is cute to share, your partner might be with the hell no, right? And you have to know how to navigate that too. Like, forget what other people are saying. Some people, just like Barzani said, like, I'm uncomfortable with that kind of attention. And so for me, I do live, not all my life, but a lot I share on the internet, really for business sake, like the things that I do, how I take care of myself, how I operate my business, all of those things I share. Working in the sorority service, I share online for multiple purposes, but definitely, as a entrepreneurial model, if you will, like, as I have clients, I want to show you the things, the systems and the resources and tools and things that I use. So I'll post and not necessarily think about it that deeply. But then, when you are with somebody who, doesn't necessarily care to have their likeness or their name or their anything, out there, that's a whole nother thing to navigate. So now, people are like, oh, it's not real if you don't post them, but you go ahead and post somebody like that if you want to, and it'll be real over. So,
right. Yeah. And I think that's conversations that you have to have, because it's like, sometimes it's a level of control, or we can feel like we're being controlled. You know what I mean? Because I've been in, a relationship, and me, I'm posting something crazy or silly, and it's like, well, why would you post that? Blah, blah. And I'm like, well, because my page ain't about you. Like, it's like, stop making everything about you. This isn't about you. This is about something that I thought funny. And I mean, I to a certain extent, I guess, but I don't know what that would be. You know what I mean?
Well, I've had people like, oh, I can't, you're a strong woman, because I see some of the things that are posted. And I was like, we were friends and we follow each other on social media before we started dating. Are
you talking about, like, stuff that he posts?
I'm like,
Yeah, because he's wild.
Yeah, I'm like, what do I look like coming in?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I had a problem with it, which I never, like, I always laughed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I now become, your girlfriend, or we're dating, and now it's not funny anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, this shit is funny. Now, I will say, don't post nothing about me that's crazy like that. But, anything else.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy part about him is what he posts is so far from his personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, you must have been drinking when you posted that. But that's also the gift and the curse of social media.
Mm-hmm.
You can be who you want to be, or say the things that you would normally say in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a certain personality. I had somebody today that was saying, she sent me the message, and it basically alluded to people don't really get to see the real me on social media.
They're saying you as in you, or is this a general you?
No, me personally.
Oh, okay.
Like, people don't get to see Barzini,
mm-hmm.
or should I say Jason?
Mm-hmm.
And I think those over the years, people have experienced that the two are very different.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm operating or performing and being Barzini as opposed to being Jason,
right?
And I'm like, but sometimes it can be a defense mechanism, because it's like, how much of the world do you want to allow into your life, into your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's a level of people like, oh, well, you don't keep it real. People don't keep it real. People are fake on social media. Okay, but like, why do you need people to be real? And why do you need to know the real them? Like, because these are strangers essentially.
But what is real? Is that only the negative? Because if something good happens to you, that is real. Or the fact that you're in a good relationship.
And people complain about that.
Yeah, like, so they
like your relationship ain't all good.
No, your relationship ain't all good. That's what
right.
I've had people like, oh, girl, just wait. And I'm like, sis, we are not rocking with the same type of person. I mean, of course, things do change. People change as you go through cycles and different chapters of your relationship. So of course, nothing's going to be the exact same, but sometimes people just have character flaws. And just because you're with somebody with a severe character flaw doesn't mean that that's everybody else's story. Like, I genuinely applaud, even when I see my exes, post stuff with their families or whoever they're with. Like, I am genuinely happy for people that are happy. Like, what kind of miserable ass person must you be? Well, I guess that's what it is, right? Misery loves company. Like, I'm not mad at you for taking your family out to the zoo. Like, that's a wonderful thing. And don't be mad if you see me out at the zoo, right? Like, so, but I also I don't know that I need to see, me and Sharonda got into it last, like, I don't know that that's necessary. I think having the highlight reel, because we know it's social media, like the fact that people say that, like, oh, that's not real, or that's not everything. Like, we already know that. So this is the place, right, where everybody posts their good stuff. There's enough bad stuff in our lives and all around us. Do we really need to see that you broke up with so-and-so and, he's trifling, or she's this, she's that? Like, I don't personally. Now, I know we were joking about it on one of the lives. Like, yeah, people will post kind of when they're going up, and you don't see when they're coming down. But the fact of the matter is, I think you said this as well. It's like, yeah, but who would actually post that? You know what? Well, I'm not going to say who, because we saw one person who came to the table and said, hey, me and so are calling it quits. I don't think I've ever spoken about this out loud, but I was so shocked, because it was like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody be that real before, right? Like, we are dissolving this marriage. I'm like,
as soon as I saw it, I was like, no, it wasn't even dissolving. It was already done.
Right. The marriage is dissolved. Right.
And I was like, you all right?
That's keeping it real for that ass right there. I was like,
right.
okay, well.
Yeah. But I know he's normally
I did slide
like
into
too.
in the DMs for that one. I did. Was like
Yeah.
to get at him, but just to say
Right. And I wasn't doing that to be nosy. I'm doing that because that's my boy.
Yeah. It's just like,
You
you
know.
okay? Yeah.
Right. So have you ever tripped on a significant other over social media?
Yes. But it was because I got up and went to my laptop or my computer. It probably was a computer. I don't think it was a laptop. And he had forgot to log out of his account. And I saw an exchange between him and somebody that claimed that we had broken up. And I was like, is that right? Like I missed that memo.
You didn't get the memo.
Right. I missed the memo. Especially since you over here on my computer. That's interesting. And then I had all kind of thoughts like, how bold are you to even be doing this on my computer? You don't have either you don't care or you don't even have enough wherewithal to log out. So that, that started a thing, and it really began my distrust of social media and text. And I know, text is not this episode, but those two things in particular have given me a lot of anxiety over the years in different situations, because what I have found repeatedly was that something would be going on. Every time the phone ding, that those that have iPhones, they have a specific type of ring or sound. And so one person, the way that they would be operating in their text, and I never read any, but because I know what was going on. Every time the phone would ring, I would literally feel sick. And so when #Boo and I first started dating, not first, because he didn't have an iPhone. We were still Blackberries. But once he got his iPhone and I heard that sound, I had to literally talk myself off of it. He's done nothing, like not anything to make me think that he would do anything, but I literally felt sick. And I had to tell him, because I was like, I don't want you to see me have a moment at some point in time and not know what's happening. And I was like, this has nothing to do with you, but this last situation was such that, like, literally, that's the reaction. So yeah, just kind of going through those situations, seeing dishonesty, feeling kind of downplayed, or as if I don't exist, or that my existence is not as big as it was, so that they could continue to kind of do whatever they were doing on social media. Very hurtful. And I can't act like I don't understand why women or even some men would be against, not being recognized, right? Like either recognize me, or now this might be a little extra, but maybe not, depending on what you have gone through. People that share accounts, like I see, have you seen that? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And to me, it signals, or it makes me, and I might be wrong, but it makes me think somebody has already cheated. Because I'm like, do you really come into a relationship like we must share social media accounts, or did somebody do something and that's kind of like the compromise? So yes, I have tripped out before. I felt like I had good reason. It has informed other kind of actions in future relationships. I'm not necessarily proud of it, but kind of is what it is. Yeah. So have you ever tripped on somebody with social media?
I have. And I try not to, but okay. So this is a situation. It was always something, like I was always getting questioned about my social media and who was that and who's commenting this and why they liking this. And I'm like, whatever. So there was one time, this is when, and I don't know if they still do this, but how you get the alert in the little news ticker, like such and such commented on such and such post, right? So it was this dude friend of hers, and I got the little alert, oh, she commented on a post. So I click on it, whatever. I'm not looking for that. I'm just using my social media. But the post was like, oh, had a dream last night. We were walking through the park. Now, mind you, this was a dude that I asked, had there ever been something between us? She was like, no.
Okay.
So the post is talking about had a dream. We were walking through the park, holding hands, yada, yada, yada. And then ran into her dude. Damn, got to find my own girl. Something like that, to that effect. Didn't name nothing, whatever, but she's commenting on it. So, everybody's like, oh, LOL, you so crazy. Whatever, and she's commenting on the same thing, and so all of a sudden I'm just kind of reading, and some chick was like, "Oh, who girl you messing with now?" or something like to that effect. And then he goes, "Oh, it was a question. I don't know if that was him, but I know there was a question. But his response was, "Oh, some Kappa dude with an Italian name. Why, you know him too? Damn."
Oh no. That's specific.
That's very specific. Very specific. I was like, So Kappa dude with an Italian name commented on the status. Mind you, me and him was not friends. But I commented and put an ellipsis on the post. Like, I'm right here reading this. So holler at me if you need to. Right? I was being petty. Yeah. And then she got mad at me. So she calls me mad at me, like, why you doing that? Da, 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 da. And I'm like, so you're not seeing what happened. Because there was another post that I saw, something like her changing her last name to his. And I was like, hey, you think that's appropriate? Like on social media, like publicly flirting with another dude. And so
mercy.
Then I see this and I'm like, hey, nah. And so she hits me back talking about, I just want you to know I called him and I handled it. Something like, but you got an attitude with me. Like I'm the one being disrespectful.
Yeah. No.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, and she was like, he said he wanted to talk to you, but I told him no. And I was like, wait, pause button. I was like, nah, if that dude want to holler and reach out to me, you let him. Like, don't ever get in the way of that. You know what I'm saying? And so he ended up inboxing me and was like, don't tell her that I hit you up, but I didn't think that it was right because I asked her to reach out to you and she told me no. And he was like, I didn't think that it was right, so I wanted to reach out to you. Like, I didn't know she had a dude, like, blah, 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 like, no disrespect and all this stuff. So when he reached out to me, I wrote this long response and decided, like, nah, I deleted the response and just gave him my phone number and was like, give me a call. And so he called me and, we had a conversation. It wasn't, contentious or nothing like that because dude had already he was trying to apologize. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not flipping on him.
Right.
We had a whole conversation just about the situation. And he was telling me, like, I didn't know she had a dude. Like, she didn't tell me she was in a relationship. But I was like, oh, for real? Bad. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, why would you get in the way? It's like he disrespected me or disrespected you in your relationship, but technically he didn't because you never even told him he was in a relationship.
You had one, right?
And then when he's trying to make it right, you're impeding that and protecting him. Like, I'm the one that's disrespected, but you're protecting him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Sound like. And
so I'm like, yeah, like, nah. And I'm not somebody that trips over the social media. I'm not the who's this on your page and who's that, blah, 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 blah. I'm not that guy. But I'm also not going to be stupid, when you're doing something that blatant, it's got to be addressed, especially as much as you trip on me about my social media. Like, you and I had a conversation, oh, well, why is she posting this on your page, and all that other madness. So it's like you want to police me and be a warden, but look what you doing.
Yeah.
And there's way more that I found out that I won't go into detail about, but it's like,
child, that made me think of 2 or 3 more stories as I was listening. I was like,
right.
Yeah, I've tripped. I've definitely tripped.
And I think just that kind of stuff, it can turn you into somebody who you aren't or don't want to be.
That's the part.
And for me, I'm just somebody who I don't trip on that. I'm not tripping. Look, I'm not worried about your social media. I'm not worried about your exes. We talked a few episodes ago about X's and O's. I don't care about all that past stuff as long as your past is not current,
present. Right.
you
Right.
know, or impeding your current. It's like it's not. I don't know. Like people always say, "What's done in the dark comes to the light." That's not true because I've done a lot in the dark that never came to light.
That's still dark.
It's still dark. You know, I'm just saying this. I'm like this. If you gonna do dirt, at least love and respect me enough not to let me find out. Love and respect me enough to not be sloppy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not so arrogant that I think that it couldn't happen to me. It has happened to me. You know what I'm saying?
Showed up happened to me.
Yeah,
What did Jody
have me out
say?
here. Like,
I lied to you.
listen, when I tell you that was the realest shit. Look, that used to be one of my lines when I answered the phone. They were like, "Boss, what you doing?" Oh shit, out here telling these women the truth. But you know, and that's that's a whole nother episode. But that is real talk, and I don't know how much sense it makes to women, but it definitely makes sense to dudes. Like I lie to you because I care about your feelings. I have to, and then half of it is I don't want to hear your goddamn response.
That's all of it. That's about 98.
No. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's not all of that. No, we don't want to hear you trip. So yes, we will lie to preserve the peace. We are true utilitarians, you know. But also it's like, damn, I did some dirt. And because the thing is, a dude that does dirt, it's not always about his woman. Like, and this may not make sense. And I know a lot of women is gonna be like, y'all gonna call bullshit on this one, but my dudes is gonna feel me. And I'm being 100% honest. It's not always about you. Sometimes I love you, but I see her and I want her, and it's a lack of discipline and self-control and a poor decision. So it's not justifying it. It's not justifiable. I'm just telling you what it is. It's like, hey, I love you, but I see her and I'm going to get that and hope that you never find out. And then when you do, I have to convince you that I still love you. And because I do, and I don't want to lose you. So
tough.
I'm just saying it's cold game. But y'all on that, let's we can go on for a minute on this one and we might revisit it.
Yeah, we might have to do part two.
Right. Part two. We're gonna have to do part two. But what are your final thoughts on part one?
So my final thoughts, I was really thinking about when Facebook first started ratting people out by alerting you when somebody tags you in their posts, but you're a friend of the person that was tagged, but not the original tagger. I mean, and I remember I was seeing this guy, and this chick started tagging him in all kind of love professions, and he swore up and down like, she's just extra, this, that, and the third. And, it wound up, they really were together, and now they are together and together forever. But it was hilarious to me, but I thought about it. I'm like, she knew the game. That was something I've never done. And I would never do, like, oh, let me stake my claim to somebody on social. Like, I feel like that's his job, right? Like, whether he does it publicly or whether he stiff arms somebody that comes into the DMs, that's your job. I'm not going to, paint my name all across your social media so somebody knows that I exist. So I think that's one of my first thoughts. Like, if you're with somebody that you feel the need to do that, then there's a deeper issue, because it's really not about social media. It's about respect. And that person should be allowed to have a measure of privacy and operate the way they operate, but draw the line where it needs to be drawn. And if you can't trust that they're going to do that, then you got another problem. And you'll likely be like this person and continue to post and tag your name all over your dude's social media for the rest of the time that you guys are together. And who has the time to do that? Right. Yeah, it's not. So I would say just be comfortable and secure and trusting in the nucleus. Like that really does take conversations, especially if you have been in situations that have been distrustful before. You have to be willing to have those kind of conversations. Like, look, it makes me nervous quite frankly. I just say, like, it makes me nervous when I hear your phone chime. I know it sounds stupid, but this is what happened. And so, like, you got to work with me on that. And now at a certain point in time, you can't still be holding him hostage for something that he's never done. But I do think it's worth it to have the conversation, at least in the beginning.
Right. My final thoughts is like, I would start with the question and ask this. If there were no social media, then what means would you use to validate your relationship?
Be popping up on them at work.
Right. No. Because here's the reality. At any time, someone can pull the plug on this whole internet thing. Someone can pull the plug on Facebook and Instagram, and, you know, they're all owned by the same person anyway. And so how real do these things really make your relationship? And I think we spend so much time allowing the masses to validate or put a stamp of approval on our relationships, or that it's real based on this, or we're doing, you know what I mean? And instead of looking at the person that's laying in the bed next to you. Yeah. It's like the person you're searching outwardly for the activities of the person instead of paying attention to the actions that they're doing right next to you, or spending that time, or put your phone down and truly connect with one another. You know what I mean? And the more, like, I am a real person. It's almost like there's this movie, I don't know if you've seen it, with Hill Harper called Love, Sex, and Eating the Bones, where he was addicted to porn and he couldn't have sex or achieve unless he was watching porn. And so he was in this relationship, and she kind of like agreed to like watch porn with him. So they're having sex while watching porn, but he wasn't connected to her. He was watching the video the whole time. You know what I mean? And so he was literally existing in another world. What it was almost like virtual reality, you know what I'm saying? Like before the goggles and everything else. And I think that's where we are. Our relationships are playing out on the internet. Yeah. With a person that's sitting next to you or lying next to you.
That's crazy, isn't it?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if it was a movie, you would literally like come home, put on some virtual reality goggles, and then live out your relationship like that and never connect with one another. And I'm just like, I want this flesh and blood and bone person that's sitting next to me to connect with. You know what I mean? Like, we can laugh at what we see on social media, but by no means am I going to judge you or love you or be mad at you, or hopefully not be mad at you based on what you post or someone else posts on your page on the internet. You know,
and we didn't even get into like the relationship bad times playing out on the internet, right? Like, we're talking about maybe cheating, but like, what if you're in a relationship with somebody and they take everything you do to social media?
So you know what? That's it. We're gonna do a part 2 of this, of socially distant, because so many people and so many relationships are distant because of social media. Yeah. So with that, y'all, this is all for this evening. Again, it's election night. I'm praying that by the end of the night, the next time that we record, we are going to have a new president.
Change is gonna come. Now. 132.92 or 131. 131.92.
I think Fox had like one. I don't know. I couldn't even see it. It flashed up and then left. But whatever. Biden is currently ahead, but the night is young.
The night is young.
So we'll see. And just pray for our country, y'all. I'm praying for all of you who are listening. I'm so grateful. The response that we've been getting to the podcast. And the truth is, at the time of this recording, we still have not dropped our first episode. Our first episode is 2 days away. And we are getting amazing response. Amazing.
We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. So with that, this has been The Crossroads. And as always, in parting, remember, be free to be you.
See ya.
All right, y'all.
We want to thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and register for our email list for more episodes and projects from your hosts, Barzini and Dre Renee. Until next time, this has been the XrossroadZ Podcast. And remember, be free to be you.